So what we're going to go through today is how to create a master game survey. So this is a list of chess games played by masters in positions that you want to explore. Um, why should you do this? A lot of times you want to look at positions you want to explore with an engine because engines are really good, but masters are good at certain things that engines aren't. In particular, playing with long-term plans and using teachable concepts. It tends to be that these are more relevant in slower maneuvering type positions, uh, and where because computers use brute force calculation, usually only looking a few moves ahead, and doing very well given that. But a lot of times you can't play that way as a human. So you want to look at what humans do, strong humans do, in positions that you're interested in of a particular type. And then what you want to do with these is just play them through, get a flavor of the types of positions that are happening from these positions that you want to examine. And then you want to identify common plans, what masters are typically doing, what the struggle looks like, and then you can practice finding moves in these games. Try to replicate what strong players would do to give you practice on what you should do in those positions. And this master game survey is really easy to create using Lichess, which you should. Um, so the first thing to do is just start a study. Studies are fantastically useful for this and other things. And so I'm going to create a study called Master Game Survey. Here we go. It's going to create an initial chapter that I'm not going to use, but I am going to use, so it knows it's there now. I'm just going to create an analysis board, and I want to look at positions of a particular type. In this particular case, I'm going to look at certain positions from the Slav. I've had terrible trouble against the Slav playing white. I've learned d4 relatively recently, and part of it is that I use the computer a lot for analysis and for these kind of slow maneuvery type positions that the Slav, that typified in the Slav, the computer isn't helpful for me to understand what's going on. So I'm going to look at a bunch of master games because masters are going to be more helpful. And one variation, I've been looking at this knight bd2 variation. I think it's really interesting, and I'm particular interested in positions where black does not play bishop f5. So you can see that's the normal move here, but there are other moves here that end up in different types of positions. One of them is a6, that tends to be slower, and it's because after bishop f5, white is going to typically get this bishop using knight h4, and the main moves you can see are bishop e4 and bishop g6, especially bishop g6 among the general population. Masters aren't doing that as much. But on either of these moves, white is going to probably eventually take this bishop with a knight. So you're playing with the bishop pair. But in positions where black doesn't do this and just sort of closes the position, something like this, you can see you can't do that. You're not chasing the bishop down. So I want to know what white does in these types of positions where it's aren't quite as concrete. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these master games that are listed here that reach this position, and I'm going to put them into my study. So I'm going to click on this one. This is a game I want to put in my study, reach this position. So I just click study, and I just click on my master game survey, and look, there it is. It's just in here. So easy to add games. So here's a second one. Also, I want to generally prefer games where white wins because I want to look at games where white has achieved some success because I'm playing with white. So I want to know what that looks like when white wins. What does it look like? And so that's what I'm going to do. I also probably, for just balance, want to understand when black wins, what does that look like? But to start with, I just want to know what white is trying to do. So games where white is successful are more likely to show that. So I'm just clicking on these games, and then on the bottom right, you just click on study, and then click the study you just made. And look here, I'm just throwing games in here like crazy. And probably can just, so it's going to be the same thing. So, and then I'm going to just take out this chapter 1 has nothing in it. There's no moves here, so I'm just going to take this out. But the rest of them do. So I've got 5 games in here. And if I want to, I can keep adding games from this position. I can look at other positions too. Maybe I want to look at games that did this. Where white is playing here. Again, this may be a kind of slow, maneuvery type position. Not a lot of pawn breaks early. So this is a position where, that might have long-term plans that I'd be interested in from master games. And I can look at, here's like a Carlsen-Gashimov game here. Anyway, and I'll just throw that in because Carlsen and Gashimov are both awesome. So there's a lot. It's so easy. Now I have 6 games in here, and I can just work through them. And I will work through them in a different video, but just making this is so easy. And so I highly recommend, if you want to look at a position, just do this, and then you can just play through the games very easily. And look at the ideas and get an impression for what's going on, and at mass, because if I've thrown in 6 games here, I could throw in 60 easily, and then you have a much better idea of what's going on in general. Okay, thanks so much.